marketable.
So my next question here that I'm going to move to is affirmative action. So the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action for race and conscious admissions and was a blow to Harvard University and the University of North Carolina. So what are your thoughts on this ruling, Chris, that the Supreme Court made on affirmative action?
Again, I guess it's kind of a similar answer to what I said before. So, technically what they did is probably correct. Actually, I was reading California already struck down affirmative action in 1998 for public colleges. And so kind of equalizing all the country on the same standard as California seems fine. But on the wider point, that the Supreme Court would make a ruling against racial equity, let's say, is unfortunate, in my opinion.
So you're for racial equity?
Yes.
Okay.
I think...
So you're for affirmative action?
I am for affirmative action. And I think what will happen in practice is that, as happened in California in public institutions, universities will have to find different ways of equalizing the racial population in the universities. I mean, this is something that I'm not an expert on, but to finish, there is still a huge gap in wealth between different races. And
so you think race should be considered then in the application status?
Yes. Yes. Maybe not. Yes. Yes.
And James, what are your thoughts on that?
I happen to agree with economist Thomas Sowell, who points out that affirmative action is actually hurting the minority communities, especially in the areas of education. By admitting students who otherwise would not qualify for certain elite colleges, yes, they meet their quota and they have this window dressing. However, many of them, a great number of them, don't graduate. So it's to their detriment. Whereas if they would have gone to a state university, they would thrive, they would get their degrees, and they would get a good, high-paying job. It engenders a lot of racial animosity. For instance, a lot of students try to apply for Harvard. Those who don't get in, maybe thousands of students don't get in. They might feel, oh, I didn't get into Harvard because of the affirmative action, and they become resentful of minorities.
I mean, do you believe that systemic racism exists in this country?
Racism will always exist. Do I think
systemic?
It's systemic?
Like,
no, it depends on what you mean by that. That's an evaluant term, a very inexact term. I don't think so. I think America is fair. I think if you work hard, most people are decent, and you will drive. I don't see this white privilege that people like to talk about.
I mean, there is statistics that show that, there are more white people that are benefiting in certain situations than people of color. So, it's kind of difficult because I'm of two minds of this, and I'm conflicted. There's a part of me that agrees with the court, and there's a part of me also that believes that systemic racism does exist in our country. And affirmative action is definitely a way to address. Thank you for watching the clip. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also stay tuned for more in the Cann with Carmella Cann.